All right, here we go.
Here we go. Great having you here. Ransu Salovaara, is that how you
Correct,
pronounce
yes,
it?
yes.
Okay, CEO of TokenMarket. So welcome, thank you for coming here and
Thanks for having me.
chatting with us today. So as always, as it's been the trend here in Blockchain Rock, we'd like to start by talking about you, about your background, what brought you to becoming the CEO of TokenMarket and the co-founder of TokenMarket.
Absolutely.
So let's start with your childhood.
Of course, yeah. Like, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and then the past 20 years I've been very much involved on media businesses, so on online media, television, online video, and online publishing, and mostly then on extreme sports sector. So I was spearheading a project for Finland's largest telecom company that wanted to compete with Red Bull Media before. Okay. And that has been, and then before that in California, I was working for Ideolab, that is the original business incubator in the world, run by Bill Gross.
Okay.
And,
so you moved. So you were born in Finland,
yeah,
correct? You grew up in Finland, and that's where you started to dip your hand in the media industry.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. And always had an interest also on a finance world, but then I've been living, in London, in America, in France, in the Alps, and now,
following the extreme sports. So the Alps,
yeah,
like for the snowboard.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I see. And where, California? What brought you there?
In outside of LA, in Pasadena.
Yeah. I see. And also, it was during the pursuit of your passion for extreme sports.
That was then full on. So the Ideolab company was called Uber Media, and that was the original. Kind of a Twitter app company. So they had the apps when Twitter was still open, and anyone can build apps for Twitter, and Twitter was not thinking that they're going to run all the apps. Then it was we had 11% market share on all the Twitter traffic in the world.
Oh, wow! Well, you had what's the name of an API or something like that?
No, it actual apps. So the Twitter has the API, and then we did the apps. And then run advertising on the apps and everything. It was when Twitter wanted to be a really open platform, and then they changed their rules, learning from us that we bought very cheap, big market share on the Twitter traffic.
I see. They wanted that for themselves.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And how did you go from extreme sport to financial services?
I was always interested on that, and helped companies on fundraising, and worked on the fundraising teams. And then there was an opportunity to work for a family office and focus on bond trading,
okay.
On managing their European bond trading, and I did that, and that was like my full-on move to the financial markets.
I see. So sorry to carry it back. So we were saying you went from we're saying adventure, extreme sport, right?
Yeah.
What area were you working in when you were working for a media company dealing in extreme sports?
So I was basically responsible for the content strategy, and I was buying all the content in for base jumping videos and everything, and I was negotiating with the actual base jumpers and production companies around the world. So production head of content strategy. Yeah.
I see. And then from that, you moved into a family office. You had the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, and that brought you to the financial services.
Yeah, exactly. Then on that one, late 2013 or early 14, then I got introduced to Bitcoin. I knew about it already 2 years before.
How come? Because at that stage,
I followed the Californian tech scene so closely, and then on TechCrunch or something, there was an article about Bitcoin, and I looked at, it has just gone from $1 to $8. And then I never actually understood what it does. So I was like, that's some weird online thing, and never paid attention. And then one friend of mine called me then, 2013, 14, and said that, Bitcoin. I say, I know of it, but I don't know it. Now, you idiot, if you now don't put all your heart into that one, because that's the future. And then I remember that was a Friday, and then I was that weekend, I studied everything about Bitcoin and everything.
This was 2013?
It was either like December or then January 2014, but
okay.
Let's call it like early 2014. Yeah.
Well, how did you get the information? Because I remember I heard about Bitcoin as well, and
but there was tons. Yeah, there was tons, but it was on Reddit. It was on these kind of alternative news platforms. But a good thing was that then these events started in London. So I was living in London, and it was really easy to go to these events. So I went to a couple of conferences then early 2014, and that basically kicked off then that started to know people and started to plan something that, okay, we need to do something in that sector. So then Mikko, my co-founder, we knew each other then, I think right then 2014, 15. We started to talk about, hey, I was trading bonds, and I said that this bond trading and how the Bloomberg works and everything is so clumsy that this blockchain could really like make a difference here on digital assets, alternative assets. And I was explaining that to him. I got to know him, and he just left his job as a CTO of Local Bitcoins, which is like a world's leading peer-to-peer exchange for Bitcoin, and started to travel around the world. And while he was traveling around the world, all Fiji and Australia and America, then we were all the time on Skype talking and thinking, okay, what could we do on this sector?
Okay.
And we were, of course, then too early, but so Mikko said to me that, hey, this way to solve this, to do these assets, is the Ethereum, but Ethereum is just a white paper. Let's see if that ever becomes anything.
So that was before.
Yeah, exactly, before Ethereum was launched. Yeah, but then I was busy on a bond trading when Ethereum launched, so I didn't invest, unfortunately, on Ethereum then on launch. So it took us quite some time to realize that this Ethereum and ICOs, so that was then when the DAO happened 2016 summer. After that, then Mikko did the technical work for one ICO called the First Blood, and that then sold 5.4 million in 4 minutes, and then Ethereum was, very low. And then that was like, okay, the aha moment that, okay, this is the way. Now there's a people with Ethereum, there's a blockchain companies wanting to raise money, and now they just need like a professional help to get this done.
Okay, I see. So basically, in a way, the middleman to take them from the idea to the execution phase, no?
Exactly, but importantly, so that we did always, so we were not like, in LinkedIn, everybody's ICO advisors. So our difference was that we did on every, so now, fast forward to today, we have now done over 30 ICOs that have raised over $300 million, and we have done the transactions. So we have done all the smart contracts, all the technical work, be custodians for all that money, and then issued those tokens to those 250,000 investors. Yeah. So in that sense, it's our work is a combination of, first kind of assessing the how good is the deal, and then helping with everything really related to the fundraise.
I see. So basically, in the day-to-day, how does it work? A project or a business come to you with a white paper or like a draft white paper?
Yeah. So now times have changed. It was like that, but now and overall for us, the companies have been always a little bit more mature. So they have had already some seed financing in. Mainly because we want to see always like kind of 5 things that we want to see: the business plan, then token model, how does the token work, then team, legal advice, which is a good thing to have, right? and then initial funding. So we always we don't take the clients if they say that, okay, we have no money, we need to now do the ICO or STO quickly, so that we get some money. We said, okay, this is not going to work because this will take time. We need to work. Yeah. We need to work on every aspect to make sure that we don't fail.
I see. So basically, they usually come to you after the pre-sale stage.
No, before that. Before that, we already help on the pre-sale and everything. So they come to us when they have a plan to do the fundraising, and then they have talked with some of our previous clients or with the law firms that we worked with, and then that way we get the leads, and they are okay. Now we are ready to process on this, first pre-sale, and then the actual ICO or STO, and that's when then we can start to be helpful. We said, okay, we have done this many times over. Now we need to look at the, legals, the marketing, technical aspects, white paper, and white paper related to token model, how many tokens to issue, what price, and so forth.
I see. Well, you said that time have changed, right? So
Yeah.
at the beginning, ICOs were booming, and then there has been a bit of a not downfall, but they became less.
Full on down, no,
Yeah.
like full stop. so it's unfortunate, but that often happens when the markets goes so hot that then we didn't expect them to be like end of like August last year was really the cutoff point,
Yeah.
and then that's when there was very few deals raised money. And the interest of those went away because the token performance of the ICOs issued before was so bad.
Okay.
So that of course, if every ICO that goes into trading, if it trades down, why would you anymore participate on ICOs?
Yeah.
And there's a way to fix ICOs. So I'm not saying that ICOs are now gone and STOs is the future. ICOs will come back, but that will take now some time for people to restructure the way that the deals are done, and make smaller deals, make better token models, have companies being more mature when they do that.
I see. So do you think lack of trust, I know, is a problem within the industry and might have led to partially this down?
Exactly. But yes, it is. But it was not that much here on the Western, like Europe and America. It was okay. There was some scams and stuff, but that has been highly over exaggerated, that they were all scams somehow.
I agree.
Many of these guys, they had a good intention to get the deal done and go forward on it, but it was just like they do too big of a deals. Token model was quite not there, and if you issue you startup, you don't have a platform or anything, you issue 1 billion tokens and market cap of 100 million, it's not easy to keep the price up there.
Yeah, we actually discussed this in a few of the previous episodes, that unfortunately some of the projects that failed due to the lack of competence, sometimes just because of lack of investment, or simply because maybe it wasn't the right time, they failed and they got labeled as scams when actually they were not scams. And
exactly, and what is that? Between 6 to 9 out of 10 startups fail.
So exactly.
And failing is fine as long as you fail for the right reasons. Yeah. You don't fail for the reason that your founders, went off to Caribbeans with all the ICO money. Yeah. If it's that's the whole point of startup investing, that it is a risky thing and big rewards.
Although I think and disagree, please let me know if you disagree with me. I always thought that there is a difference in culture between Europe and the US when it comes to failure. So especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, I believe personally that many of the businesses that then start as a startup and become successful and established are based in America, also because there is less of a stigma to bankruptcy. Whereas in Europe, I think as soon as you're bankrupt, you go on the register, and the perception that people have in you, especially within each industry, change to the point where it's almost impossible for you to try and propose yourself again. And I think that is stifling.
I agree with you. Huge cultural difference between that failure, quick back on your feet, new idea that didn't work, just as long as you learn from the previous lessons,
it's a learning curve.
The investors, everybody thinks that you're now more mature, you might be the next deal might be the winner. So I think that if to finish up on the ICOs now, that they will come back. They will be more mature companies that they probably have done initial fundraising, even maybe STO first, and now they have a platform running or almost running where they need really this utility token. There needs to be some sort of utility, and then they can run that ICO and on a much smaller size, so that there will be really what do you call it? That there will be really need for tokens.
Why do they need a utility token as part of their ecosystem? Why do you say?
Yeah, it's not mostly you don't.
Okay.
That's why it's good thing that now comes STOs. And I want to clarify that when I talk about the STOs in our books are not ICO tokens. That's done in in America now. They want to put everything to be securities. And this is, by the way, one great thing about Gibraltar. I have to say that Gibraltar has no intention to turn, as much as I know about the regulator here, they have no intention of trying to turn every token into a security.
Yeah.
And that actually many other innovative regulators in Europe and worldwide are taking that stance that they don't want them to be securities. Only Switzerland is pretty, kind of being tough on that, and America.
Yeah.
Therefore, many times Americans now mistake when we talk about the STOs. They start to think that okay, you do the same ICO tokens, but now they just register it as a securities, and they are really then bad securities, because they don't give you the ownership rights or dividend rights or anything.
You don't have the perks. You just have the compliance issue.
Compliance hassle. Yeah, exactly. So I really see that the ICOs will come back. Like a next way that they come back is something that we don't realize now. That's why everybody likes to say that ICOs are dead, they're gone. And then when comes now the new form of an ICOs, everybody's of course this is the way that they work.
And how do you see them coming back? What are the features?
I'm not that good on fortune telling here. But I see that they will be exactly more mature companies, and then they have really, thought out that how that kind of a staking, for example, like look at now Binance token, which is full-on utility token, is now top 10, on CoinMarketCap. So that gives you a good example of if you have they have a super powerful, billions a day trading platform, and now with having that token, you can get lower fees and other perks, and then they keep the coins that they get in, they keep burning those to keep the supply on 100 million or something like that. So that's pretty clever. And there's stuff that people can learn from that. And talking about initial exchange offerings, then I think that those are now mainly just the lipstick on a pig. So they really are, there's no innovation on those. They just put them on exchanges now. Exchanges, which are, most of them are unregulated. Yeah. They have a fake volume, they have a wash trading, and then they run those and keep the pricing no matter how artificially up there. Not Binance, as we know, SEC and these other studies shows that on 80 exchanges, only 10 of them have a real volume.
Yeah, I do see the benefits of the idea though, because you basically exploit someone else's pool of customer. So for the person offering the token is great because they can save cost on marketing, or at least have in a different form.
And that's why exchanges started to do that, because their volumes were going down to 90%, 99%, and they needed like a kind of new business to bring in something exciting to their exchange clients. So they bought in exchange offerings.
I see. And where do you think is the just because we were talking about exchanges, and myself, I just started to get interested in where I could buy some crypto assets and so on. Where do you think is the value added for an exchange? So where does it lie for the end customer? Because of course, when it started, it was very much of a niche, and you had to have some solid knowledge, and you had to know how to trade on an exchange. You had to learn. Right.
Or you mean where the exchanges the future of exchanges kind of?
More than the future, how can an exchange improve their product to benefit the end customer? Because for me, that's accessibility. It's about being able to easily buy and sell cryptocurrencies.
Yes, exactly. So the exchanges will now. This is my prediction of the market.
Yeah.
Now that exchanges will now go through a massive change of a landscape over 1-2 years.
Okay.
And these centralized exchanges doing lots of wash trading and lots of fake volume. They just literally just write crazy volumes to them, and they don't have that volume. And it includes the big ones there. Anyone can go and look at the blockchain transparency report from last December. But so all the centralized exchanges will go under huge scrutiny on the real volumes, what they're really doing. Then they will go, under scrutiny to all the hacks. So the hacks keeps happening over and over again. So I personally don't see any other option than going to decentralized model, where people are their own custodians. So non-custodial exchanges. And every trade goes through the smart contracts. So this way you cannot, do the fake volumes and wash trading that easily.
Yeah, but you said like non-custodial exchanges, correct? But you are now in the process of opening up.
Yes, we're doing non-custodial.
Non-custodial.
Yeah,
I see.
absolutely.
So you're
we don't call it decentralized exchange because we have a centralized, of course, KYC and AML.
Yeah.
Because we're doing fully compliant exchanges, and then the order book has to be centralized so that it works quickly.
Okay.
So on that.
So what aspect is decentralized?
That you keep your own money. We
so
never hold
each
the money.
has its own wallet. Okay,
yeah,
I see,
exactly.
I see.
And you can plug, you have a MetaMask wallet or something like that, and you can then plug that into the exchange, and you never actually put the money there randomly on the exchange and keep it there, and then
I see.
That's the future. And if it would not be, Binance would not be developing now decentralized exchange.
Yeah, I see.
Coinbase is developing decentralized exchange. So the non-custodial model is the way to go, because it's not when all these services, you will have all different kind of crypto services left and right that you can use. Different exchanges for some for securities, some for utility tokens, then some lending platforms or whatever it is. Then people will not start to create account with everybody and just start to put money there on hold to everybody. People will more go around with their wallet, kind of like almost Facebook login.
I see. Yeah.
And Facebook login. With Libra, probably there will be something like that once you have KYC'd, you have a different kind of Facebook login. I would assume that that's the case, because that's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
I can then.
So you centralize identity by decentralizing the.
Yeah, you have your identity is done with, let's say now with the Facebook, and then you have your own wallet where you hold your stuff.
Yeah.
Or then, like I've been talking with a couple large European banks who they both have asked us that, hey, where do you see, what should we develop? And I said that you should develop a decentralized wallet where, I trust your brand as a bank, and then I can put and have a, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever on that wallet. Yeah. And then when I go to, TokenMarket exchange, it says, the bank's button, there you see your bank's logo, boom, and you say that, okay, connect, and now my funds are usable on that one.
I see. I like the idea of Facebook, having a Facebook account, because recently, since a few years now, you can log into so many services just through your Facebook account. It's like your digital identity is centralized.
Exactly. I always prefer that over to. I don't care. They know everything about me, so I'm like an open book.
But to be fair, everyone is right now.
But that's much better than because the convenience wins. You know?
I agree. And also, I think, especially given the speech of making data privacy a priority for them, I think it makes sense. It merges well with their product right now, because it is a very centralized hub through which you can control your privacy setting, the information you share, not just on Facebook, but on all of the other applications you're signing in through Facebook. So I think in a way, the way they are branching now, financial services, digital identity and all of that, it is becoming effectively, I think, your digital identity online.
Exactly. And if we now clarify that a little bit for the people who listen to this, is that today then Facebook lead effort, Libra, published a white paper. I have not read it yet, but that's Facebook's now, as they call it, cryptocurrency, and on a blockchain-based cryptocurrency run by what is that, like, non-profit foundation out of Geneva. And the founding members are also then Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Uber, Lyft, eBay, Spotify.
Yeah.
So all the,
Silicon Valley.
Yeah, exactly. Silicon Valley. Well, Spotify is Swedish, Estonian, but exactly. But this is a huge thing. For, first of all, they call it cryptocurrency, which is great, and then this is not government-backed money. So this is the first time ever that the large financial corporations like Visa and MasterCard goes and supports something that is not government money. So Libra will be some sort of a basket of. I didn't find yet that is it now, top 5-10 currencies in the world. That's a mix of, or is there then some commodities as well there, like a gold?
I haven't read it yet, but I know that it's backed by some. It is
a stable coin, and the goal is to make it as stable as it can be, and that's really exciting. That I was 100% sure that they do it as just a dollar.
Do you think
they're now moving away from dollar being the world currency?
Do you think they want to use it? Because I just read on the news. Again, I didn't have the chance to read the white paper yet. But do you think they will be using it to allow end users to sell their data?
I think that they're going to stay away from that now for a while, and just focus on making it like the rumor was that now Facebook, starting then next year, Facebook employees can get their salary on Libra.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and then of course on a launch, when the token starts working, or the coin, then it will be that you can use it on Uber, you can use it on Spotify.
Yeah. Also, they debunked. No, they said that they wanted to focus on countries where there is a lack of
course, yeah,
banking.
and exactly, and many more people, as we know, many more people has now a smartphone than people have bank accounts. So this is exactly to get away from that. So banks are really screwed with this announcement, in my opinion. There's no way that banks can anymore win on these third world countries.
Unless they jump on board. No, and
they don't gain anything from that.
Yeah,
this is basically no fees there, almost no fees. So banks are now like, I think, too little, too late.
It reminds me a bit of the music industry when the record labels in the 19th, they owned everything. You know, the price of a CD was extremely high, and then iTunes,
Napster.
Like Apple, a tech company,
Napster
came out.
Napster,
yeah, that was for sharing for free. But I'm saying even paid content, which right now is the trend, because people are happy to pay a fee, so against having high quality music, high quality products, and it changed, I think, the culture around how we see. Products within the creative industry, so music and video, with
Netflix.
Now video games as well are going
to
be...
everybody basically pays, like I think it's from middle class and above American families, I think it's 50 or 70% that pays, for example, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And then all of them, Spotify or Pandora, and then all of them for Netflix.
So the argument is, I think, very established institution, because like those record label, the major, were institution almost like banks are in the financial service, but with regards to the music industry. And sometimes someone comes, a challenger, with an idea, and they take over the market and just they innovate. And now those record labels have struggled considerably, and they had to adapt. And
exactly, because they were taking a huge cut.
Yeah,
for
massive.
very little.
I see.
Anyway, exactly. But that's really exciting to see now the Libra. And how there will be another world currency, how that will be then live side by side with Bitcoin, which being really like a digital gold. So interesting times ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting also because it almost gives a legitimacy to these these massive groups.
Not almost, it does.
It does. So basically, they become states.
Exactly, and that's why I'm so excited that they call it cryptocurrency, and they say that we have their own blockchain. People can now then start to complain about the blockchain and everything, but that is like now.
Yeah, the purists are always going to complain.
Yeah, exactly. They don't see the forest from the trees.
But I think it's interesting because, like, in terms of revenue, the Facebook group, or like Google, all of these companies already have a turnover which is above that of some countries.
Oh yeah, they're massively profitable.
Yeah, and now with their own currency, it seems just they're becoming nation state without borders. Like
and they said today that head guy from Facebook said that they have 2.7 billion people using their apps a month, and then 90 million companies are on the platform. 90 million companies looking now to connect with and sell something and interact with these 2.7 billion. So that's a pretty good place to roll out your own currency.
Coin and exchange. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Like Amazon, are you familiar with Fulfillment by Amazon? They offer you everything, basically. You just put your brand. So that was smart, because in a way they offer you the marketplace, and they offer you also the shipping and delivery and all of that. Yeah. Facebook focuses on, and that relates to physical products.
World's best logistical service, of course.
Absolutely.
Amazon and we use their servers for
AWS.
AWS.
And on the other hand, you have, and that was mainly relating to a physical product, right? Whereas Facebook focuses on digital services and digital product, and now they're introducing a currency which probably will be used to exchange.
They're going to be a bank,
they're going to be a state, I think. I see. And what about TokenMarket? You mentioned that now you intend to offer a decentralized exchange, correct?
Yes, exactly. So where we are now is that we have been now approved in UK with FCA, we are on the latest sandbox with the so cohort 4 last year's sandbox, and now we've been approved, and now we're starting our own STO then next week, which is just a test STO to show that that now we can really help companies to raise money on a token that represents 1-to-1 company shares.
Okay, so it's an effective security.
Exactly, full on, yeah. So that's why we need an equity crowdfunding license, and we needed to go through the sandbox in UK in order that we can tokenize the shares. Because that's of course the big innovation there, that we can do real shares that are tokenized, and we can basically create now a smaller stock exchange then to follow up that. So we can do the issuance and help companies to raise money, and then we can have our own exchanges which are kind of below NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange and London Stock Exchange for smaller, exciting tech startups.
So they're more agile as well in terms of requirements, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess
we've been negotiating that with the regulators. That how will this trading? What are the requirements on audits and everything? And we have done great progress on that one, and we aiming to have exchanges then regulated and approved by the end of this year.
And how was, I don't know if you can disclose anything, but how was the sandbox process?
That was really good. So that was really pleasant work with a big regulator. Like, we have worked with the Gibraltar regulator before, and that works well. Small and nimble regulator. It was also great to see that UK regulator FCA is acts that way, like very startup friendly. Lots of negotiations, very little telling you that this is our way or highway.
Not patronizing.
Yeah, no, never. It was really good process, and a very consultative approach in that way. That okay, let's find a way to do this, and of course never then sacrificing, investor protection.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So that's never, they're happy to do many things with the startups as long as you don't try to get the easy way out.
Yeah, no, as long as
and
you put in the effort.
We always happy to we now basically work with the regulators in 4 countries, and are in a process of two more licenses this year. So we have really learned that okay, most of the time they want to get things done.
Yeah.
And they just want to see that you're not trying to do anything weird.
Yeah, shortcuts or
exactly.
Yeah. I see. And what about the trend in the industry? You mentioned earlier, familiar with this industry, with the fintech industry since late 2013, beginning 2014. How it has changed from the beginning to nowadays? Because I guess with the introduction of Libra, like now it really marks an important moment, because
and look at this, I have friends here in Gibraltar, and in our office guys, everybody has a Revolut account.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like a huge change. And then I was just on a one conference, and we asked the audience that, hey, how many of you have a big bank account? Like everybody has UBS, Barclays or something. And then how many of you have Revolut? Same amount of hands goes up. And then we asked that, okay, if you would have to choose and you can just keep one, would you keep Revolut? Every hand up. Like nobody was saying no, I want to keep my
hesitating. There is no.
I mean, Revolut is just a better bank. So that shows that the fintech, on financial sector, whole this innovation is really needed. Like banking has been super clumsy. It is Facebook is now saying that why can I send you a picture or like your stuff 24/7, but I cannot send you money 24/7. Then we look at all the banking stuff, how hard it is, and how something goes wrong with your card, the being blocked.
Yeah, no, but also application generally.
And then also the stock market, that you have to go to broker deal, brokerage firms, and everything is so it is very clumsy, and it needed to be disrupted this way.
Yeah. So basically, we went over. We discussed your past.
Yeah, the ICOs to STOs now, and then of course the Facebook's Libra took a big chunk of the
your background.
Yeah.
Your background in extreme sport.
Yeah.
And now where TokenMarket is heading. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's exciting times ahead for us, and I think the whole market now, the crypto winter is over, and now everything is maturing nicely. I think that this is going to be very good rest of the year for crypto business overall on both, currencies and utility tokens side as well as the securities.
I see. Well, all the best to you, and thank you again for coming here with us and to have a chat with us. And we hope to see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye.